Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to muzzlightyear. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin price, how to know when to buy, and how to know when to sell. The problem is that we have a limited awareness of what's going to happen to Bitcoin's price. And any one day it could go up, it could go down, it could go sideways. And we have to accept that this is something we're never going to be fully in control of. But if we look at the long term, we see that it has been going up. So I'm on CoinMarketCap right now. Let me go to Bitcoin. See here, let's go to all. Looks like maybe nothing happened here for the first few years, but actually if we change it, let's say we go back, let's say just for the year of like 2013, 2014, okay, it went up a little bit. And if we keep zooming out, okay, ups and downs, but still going down. Didn't reach its all-time high, unfortunately, until you could pass a little bit more, and then suddenly, oh, we're in a new bull market. Oh, it's gone up considerably more than the previous all-time high. Wow, look at that. It keeps going up, so much so that this previous bit here looks like a blip now. And then we fast forwards. Oh, okay, we're back in the bear market again. All right, this is painful. It's never going to go as high as it was before. Could it? Could it? Oh, maybe not. Doesn't look like it's going to. We keep zooming out, and oh, it's considerably gone above its previous all-time high. Wow, it keeps going. Keeps going. It's gone even higher again. And here we are again back in the bull market, and this is where we are right now. So on a couple of occasions, it looks like it's not going to go back up. And then it goes up considerably above. This has happened on a number of occasions, and who's to say it's not going to happen again? Because in the long term, for the past 10 plus years of Bitcoin, the number has been going up. And that's the most important thing. Because the longer the time frame, the stronger the signal usually is. And when it comes to Bitcoin, the biggest barrier to its success is trust. And I don't think there's anything we can do to speed up the process of getting people to trust that Bitcoin is solid. It just takes time. It takes time to build that trust. But as we can see over the years, that keeps going up. But it's not enough to know that the chart is moving up and to the right. There are clearly times when it's higher risk to buy, and there's times when it's not a good idea to sell. So how do we know what Bitcoin price is the best to buy and what to sell at? Well, first thing we need to do is develop a better understanding of the cycles that Bitcoin has been going through. And it's been going up more in the long term, but when it does go down, it goes down quite a lot. It's been said that Bitcoin's price goes up in an escalator, but it comes down in an elevator. So we need to determine what better tools to use to understand what a cheap Bitcoin price is and when is a good time to buy Bitcoin. How do you know? How do you know when's a good time to buy Bitcoin? Well, the problem is that there's a number of different indicators that are available out there. And if we look at this chart, for example, this is weekly Bitcoin on Binance. We can see that you can use a number of different technical indicators, and there's some popular ones like the moving averages, Bollinger Bands, for example. So if we select that, you can see it gives like a kind of range it moves into. There's other popular ones like let's see, RSI and CCI. So RSI, for example, here gives an indication of like the buying and the selling. For a lot of people, they use CCI, and they just decide, when it's a positive number, it's a good time to buy. Price is going to go up. When it's a negative number, it goes down. Like at the end of the day, there's so many indicators out there. It's hard to know which one to use. And looking at this chart, looking at this number of indicators, we're no closer to knowing when's the best time to buy and when's the best time to sell. A lot of people have said that the best time to buy is around the Bitcoin halving, which comes around every 4 years. But the thing is, as Bitcoin's awareness increases every year, the halving is also going to be priced in more and more so every 4 years. So that's not helpful. And then with these indicators that we're showing here on Binance, these are backwards looking indicators, meaning that by the time they've told you something, it's too late. The action's already happened. What we want are forward looking indicators, something that's going to tell us when something's going to happen. So I want to bring you to this tool, which is what I use personally, and it's called CryptoStackers. So this is it here. This is the Bitcoin chart. And let me explain to you a little bit about how it works. And I know what you're thinking. The last thing you want is another tool to overcomplicate matters or to have to pay for something. So I'm going to keep this very simple, and I'll tell you what you need to know anyway for free. So I'll just explain to you what CryptoStackers is and how I use it. So essentially, it's tracking Bitcoin's price, and then as you can see, there's a number of different bands here that are available. There's green, there's yellow, and there's red, and then there's like a bold red and dotted red, dotted green, bold green. And basically what this is telling us is that when it's around the green band, this is a low risk time to buy Bitcoin. It doesn't usually hit that green band very often. When it's the dotted green, it's decent, could be better, but not too bad. The yellow is more like the average price, probably the fair market value perhaps of where the sentiment is now, and how Bitcoin is perceived in the macro environment. And then once it's getting to the red, it's getting to, okay, it's a little bit overheated. Once it gets to this price, it's gone unusually high pretty quickly. So if I scale out, we'll get a better idea of what Bitcoin's been doing. So this one goes as far back as mid-2017. And as you can see, already, in 2017, we could see things were already getting heated up. And the price then was around 2,000. Already getting heated up. It hit the red here. Great time to take profits. The red would have told us that. Comes back down, reaches sort of equilibrium around the yellow, around 1,800. And then it starts going back up again. Again, overheated, would have been a good time to sell. And then you could have bought back in again here, for example, maybe around yellow. Goes up again. And then here it's a lot above the red. And the problem is that this is the time when a lot of people were buying. Here we go, it's like 15,000, 16, 17, 18, I think it went as high as 19. I was one of those people that also made the mistake of buying around this range, because I thought to myself, this is going to keep going up, this isn't slowing down. But almost like a pendulum that has to go back to its equilibrium, it went back down again, and then it hit a point here on the dotted green band where actually it would have been a time to buy back in again. This is relatively cheap based on what Bitcoin was doing. And as you can see, it kissed it and it went back up again, went down, kissed it, went back up again. And then we had an extended bear market where it just sort of went down, 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 down. And then here is like, okay, this is a time when it's really great to buy. It's a low risk time to buy Bitcoin. Here it was around 3,000, as you can see. And then if you were patient, it went back up again. And then maybe here it's time to take some profits. 6,000, okay, doubled your money. That's pretty good. Kept going up. 12,000, okay, that's pretty good. 4 times your money. So then it's time to sell. So again, this isn't like one of those things on Binance, which doesn't tell you what's going to happen. It just tells you what's already happened. The reason I use CryptoStackers now exclusively is that it tells me where things stand right now. Here, this is an interesting moment. This is during the pandemic when it hit. The whole world collapsed. And then you had a very unique opportunity to buy. Again, it just kissed the green. Came to around 4,000. And then went almost immediately back up again. There's no way of knowing it would have gone back up again. But what we do know is that historically speaking, once it's been around the green band, this has been a good time to buy. And that was true. You can see it goes up, and it starts getting to a point, okay, it's the red, it's getting a little bit heated now. It's time to start slowly taking profits, keep taking profits. And if you were taking profits all the way up, you're in a good spot. And then by the time it comes back down to this green dotted one, you can start DCing again. And then when it hits the red, start taking profits again. Again, this isn't a backwards looking indicator. This is telling you in real time right now where things stand. This is a forward looking indicator. That's what makes this tool so powerful, and it's so simple. It's so easy to use as well. So more recently, we hit that green band again around 18, 17 ish K. back in June would have been a good time to buy, start accumulating. It's been hovering around this stage ever since. But the difference between buying then and buying now is that back then it was a lower risk than it is now. You could still buy now, and it would have been near similar price to June, but it's higher risk. The reason being is that there's still more down it can go based on what's been happening, you know? So yeah, you might buy around the same price, but it's a lower probability trade. It would have been a better time to buy here because although you might not have had the outcome you wanted, you made the right decisions at the time with the information you had. So you can see that if I scroll back in again, the next time it's going to hit the dotted one is around 15,000 ish. And then this green one, it's almost 11K. That would be a time to start going all in. Again, this is based on today because as you can see, it's been going steadily down, and it looks like it's going to keep going down even more. So that's something to keep in mind. That's basically how you use CryptoStackers. If you're interested in it, there's a link in the description. Otherwise, I'm giving you the information here from my subscription for free anyway, so don't worry about it too much, okay? At the end of the day, the best strategy for you is one you can stick to, okay? Can you stick to buying at the green bands and taking profits at the red bands? Do you have the patience to wait for only those moments, which sometimes takes months, which sometimes takes years? Or are you the kind of person that would just feel a little bit more comfortable having some skin in the game all the time? So, for example, you'll always dollar cost average in regardless every time you're below the yellow. And then every time you're above the yellow, you're always taking a little bit of profits, maybe like, 10% each week, for example. Only you can decide what you'll be able to stick with and understand what works best for you based on your psychology. And the thing is, if you're not sure what is best for you, then try a strategy that you feel is best for you right now. See what happens, okay? And if for whatever reason, after a while, you're struggling to stick with it, then you can switch it up, and tweak it a little bit for your use case. The main thing is to be willing to prepare to go with a Bitcoin investing strategy that you're comfortable with in the near term and hopefully also the long term. You need to have a way where you know exactly where you stand. You hear people ask you, is this a good time to buy Bitcoin? Or you think to yourself, is this a good time to buy Bitcoin? I don't know. 19K. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Okay. Actually, CryptoStackers Pro is telling me it's better than it should be. I mean, it'll probably maybe should be around 22, but it can also be better. You can decide what is good enough for you to start buying back in and what is a good price for you. Because using this tool, we have historically seen that there are lower probability entry points. They take time to come. This is 2018, this is 2020, 2022, almost every 2 years. Now, that's not to say that we have to wait another 2 years from here. It could go down again more. Maybe you'd feel better if you had something, in the market. Again, that's up to you, because adopting a new strategy it's a challenge, okay? It's an ordeal and it's not easy. I'm guilty myself of not being able to stick with what I told myself I was going to do, which is why I've kind of, given over control, so to speak, to CryptoStackers, because it's easy to follow. It's been proven to provide reliable indications of when the price is low and a good time to buy is, okay? And it also tells me when the market appears to be overheated and it's time to take profits. So the best thing to do is to at least make a start, make a decision on what you're going to do. And at least from there, you'll have something to build on, something to make improvements on, to tweak and change. If new information about your investing psychology is telling you that you're a little better off, doing something a little bit different. And then all you have to do is sit back and let your new strategy take effect, okay? It's hard to be patient and play the waiting game. You're not the only one. Everyone struggles with this. If this was easy to do, everyone would be making money. That's just human nature. It's hard, especially when it feels like the money's already been made and everyone else has already made that money as well. Or if you want faster results because you want to have more money to do something in particular, with your life, whether it's pay off debts or be able to buy a home or to go traveling or to quit your job. But the thing is, if you want success in crypto, you need to figure out the price for that success and then pay it. And that sounds a little bit trivial and obvious, but if you unpack the idea, it has a lot of extraordinary power. Okay? If you want success, you need to figure out what the price is to obtain that success and then pay it. In this case, with Bitcoin, the price to pay is patience. There's just no other way around it. You know? You're here watching this video because you know and you believe that Bitcoin's price is going to go up, and in the future, you want to capitalize on that. Okay? And you just need to figure out when is a good time to buy. You don't know. This is one way. Okay? If you go here, it can tell you exactly. So it's up to you if you want to pay the price of patience to reap those rewards. So, you know, a lot of times it's helpful to think to yourself, okay, let's say someone else was in this position. They go into crypto, they're looking at CoinMarketCap, they see kind of stuff what it does, you know, they're looking at Binance, they're looking to buy, okay, look interesting, but they don't know what to do. What would you advise them to do? You know, someone asked you these questions, is this a good time to buy Bitcoin? Or should I get into crypto? Or what are your thoughts on crypto? What's your thoughts? What would you do? More often than not, the advice you give someone is the advice that's hard for yourself to take, because we often think that we have some sort of edge, or maybe we think we're smarter than we actually are, you know, and that becomes a blind spot, because when you believe you're smart, and if you are actually smart, it's easier to convince yourself that you have an edge and that you know something other people don't. But if you were advising someone else, you know, if you're advising, like, you know, a 5-year-old, if you're advising your grandmother, you're advising someone that knows nothing about this, you would tell them something completely different to what you would do yourself. But probably what you told them may be the best thing, you know? So think to yourself, what would you advise someone else to do? And then write it down, okay? It's easier for us to give advice and see the big picture more clearly when we're analyzing for someone else, okay, rather than when we're trying to decide for ourselves. It's just the way the human mind works. So when you reach that decision of what you're going to do, you know, when you see Bitcoin's price, the good thing is that if you have a strategy, something like using like CryptoStackers, the decision's already made for you. You know, you don't need to think about it. And in my opinion, that's why using CryptoStackers and buying when the risk is low, when it's in the green bands, and then taking profits when the price has risen above a certain amount, when we get into the red bands, that's how I know. Okay, that's how I know Bitcoin price. Is this a good time to buy Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin cheap now? Is Bitcoin expensive now? Price keeps going up. It's a new all-time high. Should I take profits? But what if it keeps going up even more? Decisions made for you here, you know? And the cool thing is that you can do it for other cryptos as well, but I just want to focus on Bitcoin because that's the granddaddy. It's the big player. These are the numbers here. You can make a note of this right now. It's relevant as of today anyway. So it's up to you. But that's all I've got time for you now. So I hope that helps answer your question about Bitcoin's price and when's a good time to buy, when's a good time to sell, is Bitcoin cheap right now, should I buy Bitcoin? Hope this was helpful. And if it was, please give the video a like. You know, it helps support the channel and shares the message with the people as well. And if this is something that you found beneficial and you'd like to receive more kind of advice, wisdom, tools for crypto like this to help you make more money, then subscribe. We got more videos like this coming up. That's all the time I have for you today. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.